Hello, it's me, Robin, with Simple Food, Simple Life. Today we're going to bake cookies. I know, I don't like to bake cookies, but I like to eat them. So today we're going to bake some really good oatmeal cookies. They're going to be a little bit different. I think you're going to like them. So come on in the kitchen with me and we're going to bake cookies. All right, I'll see you there. Hello, thanks for joining me today in my kitchen. All right, I got my big bowl out because I wanted, I always say when in doubt, go big. So I got my big bowl out today to make the oatmeal cookies. Now these oatmeal cookies have dried fruit. Actually, it's from an original recipe that I've used since the 1970s. Yes, I'm a senior. And it's for oatmeal cookies with raisins. However, I have used the cookie recipe in many ways, and I've adapted it to many different flavors, including chocolate chips. Oats are good, and I think that if you can incorporate them here and there, it's good for you, so why not? They're tasty. All right. So this is what we have in the big bowl today. We've got, and don't worry, I will put the recipe in the description box below, so don't worry about that. And oh, and by the way, please like, subscribe, and share. It would mean a lot to me. And make sure you comment below and let me know what your favorite cookie is. I'm telling you, who doesn't like cookies? I don't like to bake them, but I don't like to make them, but I sure like to eat them. Okay. So this is what we've got. This is what's going to go in our cookies. Butter, of course, because butter's good. I've got some, now don't criticize me. Don't be mean to me. It's imitation vanilla, but honestly, I'm good with it. I don't care. I got a couple of eggs, okay? I've got some baking powder, some baking soda, some cinnamon. I have some brown sugar, and I have a variety of dried fruit. I have the last of my golden raisins. I love golden raisins. These come from Aldi. There's the last of these. I've got some tropical fruit trail mix, which is just actually all dried fruit. There's no nuts in it. And I get this at Dollar Tree. It's awesome. And I have some banana chips, which I get at Dollar Tree. They are so delicious. Great snack. And I have some apples that I dehydrated myself, and I'm going to use these. Now, oh, and I have some oats, of course, and don't be mean about my canisters. I've had these since the early 1990s, so, hey, they still work. And I have some flour. Now, honestly, it doesn't matter that much what kind of oats you use. Just, I don't know, use what you've got. These are rolled oats, so that's what I usually buy. So, I'm going to get these cookies mixed up. They're very, very easy to mix. And I think you're going to enjoy them. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop up the dried fruit until I have approximately a cup. The recipe calls for 1/4 cup of raisins, or excuse me, 1/2 cup of raisins. But I like them fruity, so I'm going to put in a whole cup. So I'm going to try to get a cup out of these. I'm going to chop them up so they're a little bit smaller. Okay, all right. So come on back. I'm going to do some chopping broccoli. Well, no, we're not going to put broccoli in. We're going to put dried fruit. So I'm going to get some chopping done. We're going to get things going here, and you're going to like it. Okay, I've got 1 cup of dried fruit. Now, just so you know, I chopped up the tropical fruit trail mix. And let me tell you what this has in it. Now remember, I got this at Dollar Tree. It has a blend of banana chips, raisins, dried papaya, dried pineapple, and dried coconut. Okay? So it's got coconut, like shavings, flakes in there. So that's what the tropical fruit trail mix has in it. I used the rest of the golden raisins to make up for the cup of dried fruit. And I have not used the banana chips, nor have I used the apples. So I'm going to save those for another day. I've got a cup of the dried fruit. So we're going to have kind of like a tropical oatmeal cookie. That sounds delicious. Okay, now if you like nuts and you want to put nuts in here, by all means, chop up some nuts and put them in. If you would prefer, I used a knife, but if you would prefer to use a food processor, go ahead. Just keep the dried fruit a little bit chunky. See how this is, it's kind of chunky? Keep it like that, because when you bite into the cookie, you want to be able to see the goodies that are inside of the cookie. Okay? All right. So I've got that done. This butter is a solid block, so I'm going to cut that into 4 parts, 2 of which will be used for the cookies. So we're going to need 1 cup of butter. So I'm going to do that. Now, the original 1970s recipe called for margarine. If you prefer margarine, go ahead and use it. I just prefer butter. But if you would rather use the margarine or you know, a vegan butter or whatever, margarine, that's good. Go ahead, use it. There's no issue with that, okay? Now don't forget, I'm going to put the recipe down below for you so that you can have it for your very own. Okay, all right, so we're going to get this done and we'll go from there. Okay, I've got, first of all, in this pan, I have 2 sticks or 1 cup of butter that is melting. Okay, I've got it on very, very low. Now, I could put this in the microwave, but honestly, I'm not running a race here. I'm just baking cookies, okay? So, I've got that on low, it's melting. And what I have here is, I've got my little strainer here. This is what I use to sift the flour. I like to sift the dry ingredients. If you don't want to do that, then don't. A lot of people these days, I know, they use the whisk method where they just whisk everything together, the baking powder, baking soda, etc. But I just like to do it like this. It's just me. So I've got all the dry ingredients except for the sugar. And we're going to use brown sugar today. I think I showed you that. And but we're going to add the sugar to the butter. And honestly, it makes everything so much easier because the butter, the sugar, that becomes your liquid. And this is just going to mix. It's a breeze to mix up. That's why I love these recipes. I've used them. There's a variety of cookies that you can make this way. And I love it. Obviously, because I've been using it for, you know, a long time. Okay, so now I've got that in there. It's all mixed up nice. You can see. And so what is in here, I should have told you, what I put in here is actually 2 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, a pinch of salt, and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Okay, that's my dry ingredients. All right, so now we're going to go on to the melted butter, and as soon as that's melted, we're going to add the sugar in there. It's almost ready, and we're going to add the sugar in there, and then we will proceed on with the rest of the ingredients. Okay, all right. Stay with me, you're going to like it. Okay. Okay, now to the melted butter, I'm going to add 1 cup of brown sugar. Now, this is light brown sugar. The recipe calls for dark brown sugar, but if you don't have it, just use the light. The dark brown sugar will make your cookie darker, but honestly, I just use what I have, and this just happens to be what I have. Although I usually buy dark brown sugar. Make sure that you pack the brown sugar down into the measuring cup, okay? So now I'm going to mix this up here. And all I'm doing is just kind of dissolving the sugar, not completely. It's just, I'm just blending it together, okay? And of course I turned off my burner. So just mix it all up together. Now, I'm not going to add my eggs to this yet because I don't want my eggs to start cooking. And the pan is hot enough that it just might do that, and I don't want to cook my eggs. So what I'm going to do this time, I'm going to back up here so you can see it. I'm going to just add my wet ingredients minus my eggs to the dry ingredients. And another thing that we have to add to the dry ingredients is we've got to add our oats. So I've got my oats here. Apologize for my tacky measuring cup. This measuring cup has been through the war and back. I've had it since, I don't know, what, 1970s? Yes. So I'm going to add in 2 cups of oats. Now remember, it doesn't really matter that much what kind of oats you use. These are rolled oats. I just use what I have. Okay. Now we got the oats in there. Now we're gonna mix it up. Make sure I got all my goodies out of here. Well, let's mix this up. We're gonna incorporate it enough that we can add our eggs, because now we know that our melted butter has cooled off enough. So let's add the eggs. Just 2 eggs. That's all you need. There we go. Now, dig into those yolks there because we want everything mixed up. Now, if you're more fussy than me and you want to just beat the eggs before you put them in, go ahead. That's fine. I guess I'm not that fussy. I can see the logic behind it, though. Yes, I can. I can see it. It's very understandable. But, alright, so we're going to get this mixed up. And we're going to make sure that there's no, you see how there's the white flour and you can see the oats, so that's not mixed up well enough, is it? I'm going to get this all mixed up. And I should have actually put my vanilla in. Actually calls for a teaspoon of vanilla. I should have put that in with my butter, but I didn't. And I guess that goes along with my being not very fussy. Okay, now we're going to add the dried fruit. Now, if you want to add in the fruit before this, go ahead. That's fine. Matter of fact, it might be easier to do that, but that's okay. It'll all get mixed up eventually. Now, it may appear a little bit dry. Don't worry about it. It will all come together eventually. And you might have to get your, get your muscles up in there. Work out your upper arm. So, here we go. Just kind of fold it in on itself. That's kind of a good way to do it. These smell really, really good. have to tell you. Now, honestly, this kind of cookie, because it's so full of delicious goodness and wholesomeness, you could eat these for breakfast. I probably have eaten them for breakfast. Because they've got oats, they've got fruit, they've got eggs. They're really, really, really good. All right. Now, I think that looks pretty good. What do you think? You think? Okay. I'm going to put these in the refrigerator, this bowl in the refrigerator for about 10 or 15 minutes, I think, before I spoon these out to bake them. Now then, that'll just actually give me enough time to heat up my oven. 350 degrees, and these are going to bake for about 12 minutes, okay? All right, so in the refrigerator they go, 10 or 15 minutes, and then we're going to come back and we're going to bake them, okay? Okay, the cookie dough has been in the refrigerator for about 10 minutes. And my bowl is just slightly chilled. That was long enough for me to heat up the oven to 350 degrees and also clean up my area, because you know you gotta keep your area all cleaned up and stuff. Okay, so this is how I'm measuring out my cookies. I'm just using this tablespoon, and I'm just going to scoop the cookie dough into the tablespoon and put it on my cookie sheet, which is actually a pizza stone, because I don't have a regular cookie sheet kind of thing. I just have pizza stones. So I use these. And now you don't have to grease your cookie sheet, but you just use what you have. If you want to use a pizza stone, use it. That's what I say. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to scoop this up as best I can, and it's going to be stiff, so it's going to kind of look like that. Okay? That's the only reason I'm doing that, is to give my cookies some uniformity. That's a good word. Uniformity. In other words, so they all look about the same size. So here I go. I'm putting them in there. Now, just so you know, if you want to, you can make these into, actually, you can make these into bars if you want to. That's fine. Most any cookie, I have learned in my lifetime that most any cookie you can turn into a bar cookie if you want to. And I know that because since I am an individual who does not really like baking cookies very much, I have made many a cookie dough recipe into bars. Yes, I have, because I just couldn't want to do the cookies. So, yes, you can make these into bars. You're just going to have to adjust the time that they bake. And I can't really tell you about that. I would say start with 20 minutes in the middle rack and go from there. Because, and every oven is different as well. So yes, these can be turned into bars. I would just recommend that you maybe put them on some parchment paper. That's kind of good. Or make sure that your pan is well greased. How many do we have here? 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's see if we can get an even dozen in here. I'm going to try to work with that, see what happens. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to bake these in the oven for about 12 minutes. I'm going to put it on 12 minutes. And then when they're done, I'll show you what we got. I forgot to show you, before I put them in the oven, I just press them down with the palm of my hand. That way they don't mound up so much, because otherwise they don't get as flat as you might like them. Okay? Alright, so, and you bake them for 12, I would say 12 to 14 minutes. It kind of depends on your oven. And so I just wanted to show you that because otherwise I would have forgot about it. Okay. Okay, these are done. Now, like I said, if you use dark brown sugar, your cookies will be darker. I like to let the cookies sit on the tray, the baking tray, for a couple of minutes before I take them off and I put them on the rack to cool. And you want them cool before you store them. Make sure that you store them in an airtight container if they last that long. And they're really, really delicious. I think you're going to enjoy these. Now, when these cool off, I will take a bite of these. And I know I have to sacrifice for you, but I'm willing to do that for all of you. So I'm going to take a bite of them and kind of show you what they look like when they're cooled off. And I think you're going to really want to try this recipe. Okay? All right, we'll be back. My cookies are done. Aren't you glad that I did this? I know you are, and I know you will be glad when you make them yourself. So, keep them in an airtight container. And this is the container I like to keep the cookies in. You use whatever you have, that's fine. And this is what they look like when they're done. These cookies are soft. They're not crispy or crunchy. They are a nice soft cookie. Let's break into one and I will show you what it looks like. Doesn't that look nice? Wholesome oatmeal cookies. Now, depending on your add-ins, you can actually just call them anything you want. They're just cookies with dried fruit. Okay? I'm going to taste this one. That's tasty. Like I said, they're soft. A little more fruit in there. These are so good and they're not overly sweet. And if you like that kind of cookie, this is a perfect cookie for you. This would make a really great breakfast cookie too, by the way. I can't believe I'm just about to eat this whole thing. Alright, listen. Sorry, my mouth is full, but that's what happens when you bake cookies. Listen. I hope you give this recipe a try. Add in anything you want. Half a cup to a cup of whatever you like. It's entirely up to you. I make this cookie recipe your own. Okay? Tell your friends and family, oh, look what I just came up with. All right, listen. I love you. If I can do this, you can do this. And as always, you just remember that little is much when God is in it. Okay? All right. I love you. And I will talk to you later. Now I'm going to go have this cookie and another cookie with a cup of coffee. I think I earned it, don't you? All right. Love you. Talk to you later. Bye.